On today's show, AT&T's Twitter spam snafu.
Niagara Falls okays tightrope walking.
Thanking people for their plus ones.
Marketing analytics versus web analytics.
And real-world B2B marketing, all coming to you in just a few seconds. Marketing Update. It's March 9th, 2012, and we're coming to you live from Cambridge, Massachusetts. I totally love that. 191 episodes, and I still can't do the intro consistently. I'm Karen Rubin.
I'm Mike Volpe. Thanks for joining. The hashtag is MKTGUp.
Totally
join in during the live show or during the week. We monitor all the time.
Tell us
if
what
you have
you
something
think.
fun to say, we might
Make fun
incorporate
of
you
Mike.
into the show. All the old episodes are on iTunes. We like 5-star reviews, so please keep leaving those. We do appreciate it. And anyone's welcome to come by and watch the show live Friday, 4 p.m. here in our office.
Our audience today, it's like they think I smell or something. They sat really far away from us.
Yeah, they're a little.
Maybe they think you smell.
Tentative. Maybe I do smell. I don't know. Could be anything. So.
No, you're all right.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Thanks for lying. So headlines. You want to talk about AT&T?
Yeah, AT&T.
This is something exclusive
To
by the way.
HubSpot.
Exclusive article or news coverage or whatever. It's exclusive.
It's exclusive.
On the HubSpot blog and now on HubSpot TV. AT&T's Twitter.
Spam snafu. Yes, very fancy words here. So what happened was a couple of days ago, our very own Brian Whaley says, guys, he's over there in the audience cam, he said, something's going on with AT&T's Twitter stream. Check it out. They've just sent out hundreds of basically the same tweet to different people.
Dozens,
and
yeah.
I asked Corey. Corey told me it was hundreds.
Oh,
I
wow.
specifically
Okay.
verified that
Right.
estimate before.
At the time,
saying
it was less than that, but maybe they always did a bunch more.
And they were sending, at Mike Volpe, check out, this
Win
and see
free
if you can win
tickets to
free
the Final
tickets.
Four, or blah, 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 with a link.
Just to one person after another, and they were coming out every 2 or 3 minutes. Just the same thing over and over again. Which, for those of us who use Twitter regularly, it's not really the way you use Twitter. It's not about just like broadcasting messages to people. It's about the conversation. It's about engagement, right?
Yeah, and I think that there are a bunch of people that do very serious spamming on Twitter, and oftentimes it's just like at @mvolpe or whoever, and then just like a link, and there's like no text.
Right.
And that's like the epitome of like a super spammy message on Twitter.
Yep.
They were doing something a little different than that.
Because the messages did have some content in them, but there was also a link.
And they were trying to target people.
They were apparently, so Brian was an interesting case because he was not an AT&T customer. He doesn't follow AT&T. He doesn't tweet about basketball or indicate in his profile that he likes sports at all. However, we did find out later that they were targeting people who, they were bloggers who could get the word out about their campaign. They lived in cities where the campaign was happening, or they had mentioned basketball or March Madness.
Yeah.
So they were trying to target people, and Brian happened to fall into their category because he lives in Boston.
Well, and he's a blogger. He's an influencer. Yeah.
Yes. If marketers are really worried about, NCAA tickets.
But,
I don't know if they were specifying certain bloggers.
Well, who knows? But in any event, so
let's talk about what we did. So we saw this was going on. It looked a little bit weird. Nobody understood why Brian was getting these tweets. What's AT&T doing? This stuff, it seems crazy.
Yeah.
And so we spent some time reaching out to the folks over at AT&T to get their side of the story.
Yep.
And Corey, and damn it, I just totally screwed up your last name, Corey. Corey E. The worst.
Work with her.
I know, but I never call her by her last name. Do you? What's Corey's last name?
Eridan?
Yeah. See,
E-R-I-D-O-N?
I was going to say Enrond, and I knew that was wrong.
Anyway, we tracked down Chris Backus, who is the head of social media at AT&T, and to their credit, AT&T did a great job of answering a bunch of questions, responding, and explaining what had happened. Because by the time we were sort of doing this extra research, the tweets were deleted from AT&T's account, which is really interesting.
And so it turns out they had actually hired an agency to help them out with this campaign, specifically with the social media promotion of the campaign. And what they were doing was looking to get the word out about the Ticket Chasers campaign to these different people that we mentioned through Twitter and through social media. Well, they weren't expecting the agency to just go and blast all these people on Twitter.
Yeah.
And once Chris Backus found out what was going on, he went in and deleted everything to make sure that they could keep their account clean, because he got that this isn't how Twitter's supposed to be used.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
no
the
dope.
quote from him was, they used the account in a way that had not been discussed. So, you know, I became aware of it when I checked the account in the morning, saw it was out there, and that is not the way we run our account.
Yep.
Right? So it's just interesting that the agency got a little bit over-aggressive. And one of the reasons why you have to be careful about what permissions you're giving out to your various social accounts, because AT&T, I think, has about 120,000 something followers.
Wow, it's tough. And that's the problem with doing this kind of Twitter automated tweeting, just finding tons of people and sending out a lot of different stuff, is all your followers saw the hundreds of tweets that basically said the same thing from AT&T.
Yeah.
Not
well,
so great.
many of your followers do, but yeah,
Many,
not all of them
not
see all of them.
them.
But
So
yeah.
anyway, the marketing takeaway here is to watch new marketing activities closely and keep an eye out for things like this that just don't go the way you want to, especially when you're outsourcing.
There you go. All right, so talk to us about the Karen Rubin story of the week, which is Niagara Falls and tightrope walking.
Is that what this is called?
It's clearly like very relevant to
So-
marketers everywhere, right?
Niagara Falls, right? Gigantic waterfall on the coast between on the coast.
You heard it here first.
You did.
Niagara Falls is a
Between the
big
United
waterfall.
States and Canada.
Yes.
Huge waterfall.
I think we know that.
Niagara Falls also been a site for lots of different stunts over the last X
Like all the people
number
that
of
have gone
years.
over in the barrel?
Go over in the barrels. There's all kinds of things that happens in Niagara Falls that people get really excited about. Well, the controlling bodies over Niagara Falls, which is kind of the National Park Service in the United States and Canada, they don't love this, because if someone goes over the falls in a barrel and dies, well, in America they'd get sued. I don't know what happened in Canada, because we sue everyone in America. In any case, so they limit. They actually say it says.
Well,
that
they discourage a lot of this activity.
They
They don't
discourage it.
want it to just become this like thrill-seeking like haven, right?
Exactly. And so a tightrope walker, from a famous family of tightrope walkers, apparently this stuff runs in the blood, approached them and asked them if he could tightrope walk across Niagara Falls. And they said no. And everybody else had said yes, but the Canadian side was like, nope, not happening, forget it. And after some thought, they decided to allow him to tightrope walk across the Niagara Falls. And the reason, which was the interesting part, was the decision was approved as part of, in part, in recognition of the role that stunting has played in the history and promotion of Niagara Falls. Sounds good. Like, this is what we do at Niagara Falls, so we're going to keep doing it. And he, the artist, I don't know, is tightrope walking considered an art? The performer, he forecasted that this stunt could generate $20 million in tourism for Niagara Falls. I don't know how he comes up with a number.
Right.
Fuzzy math.
It could generate that. Right.
I mean, they did ask him to do it in June, when, not July or August, when the tourist season is in full swing. They wanted it to be when there are fewer people there to watch him plummet to his death.
Also to attract more people.
Maybe to attract more people.
Because they already get a lot of people. They're already at capacity those other months. So they want to fill up the capacity in June. That makes sense. I like that.
So they're trying to be a little bit okay, stretch their comfort zone, do something they wouldn't normally do, and get a little bit more media attention.
And they also said that they're only going to consider requests, they said, every 20 years.
Every 20
which
years.
sounds like a little extreme to me, but only from like skilled professionals and things like that. So they're
This
going
is
to do a
not
little bit of
opening it on
but just
tightrope
once,
walking.
exactly. It's
Like,
just like very selective, you know,
You
what they do.
cannot go tightrope walk across Niagara Falls if you wanted to.
Well, if you happen to be a fantastic tightroper, maybe you can.
Maybe you could,
But
but
the average person in the HubSpot
Anyone
TV
in the
audience
audience
probably
tightrope
could.
walk before? Yeah, so none of you in the audience could go and tightrope walk across Niagara
Yeah.
Falls.
Anyway, what's the marketing takeaway, Karen?
Be remarkable, and scarcity can create attention, so not doing this all the time and not like everybody that wants to try and kill themselves on the waterfalls is a good thing.
Awesome. Tell us about thanking people for their +1s.
All right, story here is new Google feature, started showing up in a couple of places. Not everyone can see it, but people have started seeing and reporting on it. Next to where in the search results where it says, you know, I do a search result for something and it says, Mike Volpe +1 to this, I can now thank people for their +1s and saying this was really helpful to me. So if I found an article and Mike had +1'd it and I thought that was helpful, I could say, thank you, Mike, for +1ing this.
You could say that.
Would you?
I don't know.
So,
I actually kind of find it odd when like the +1s like show up in my search results. I just
I think it depends on what you're searching and who +1'd it.
that could be yeah.
There are certain things I might be searching for that if you +1'd it, I'd be uncomfortable.
No, you uncomfortable?
It happens occasionally.
No.
Very rarely.
Pretty rare, as the wiki's proving today. in any event, so this is sort of like interesting new feature. Be interesting to see what Google does with this over time. But clearly, they're trying to maybe even like close the loop between recommendations people are making and how useful those recommendations are. Sort of like reviews on Amazon. It's like you can review a product, but then people can review the review and be like, how helpful was this review to you? And I think that they're trying to sort of do that, and be interesting to see like how that data plays out over time. So just something to kind of keep an eye on, maybe.
Marketers should go thank people for +1ing their content?
Well, so it was interesting because the marketing takeaway here is asking people, do you thank your community for sharing your content? I'm not sure that thanking people for the +1 through this specific mechanism makes sense, but I think that thanking people when they, in general, share your comment or share your content or leave a comment on your blog or things like that is actually good. I think people like to be thanked, and they feel like if you thank them, you're actually paying attention, and they're more likely to share your content in the future.
It's something I've struggled with before. Like, if you get a retweet on Twitter, do you say thank you every time?
Well, if you only get like one every 2 days, then yes. If you get lots of them, then it's harder to do that because then your account becomes like, thanks so-and-so, thanks so-and-so,
right,
thanks.
No, that's exactly it. Sometimes I'll group, I get tons of retweets all the time.
Just, we call her Karen Mad Retweets Rubin.
And so sometimes you like push them together, like 4 people at a time, and be like, thanks for the retweet. But I stopped doing it because it just felt so forced and so like
sometimes
not
I make sure, sometimes I'll follow them. Like, if I'm not following them, I like follow them, and I feel like that's sort of like my way of thanking them, whatever. Anyway, so yeah. You can read that.
Yeah, we got one from our loyal fan, @Sam Corin, hoping that this isn't the last time we see @BWellie's big hands in the audience shots of a HubSpot TV. This is true. I hope the same thing.
Marketing analytics versus web analytics.
All right, tell us all right, marketing analytics, web analytics, are we splitting hairs here? What's the difference?
We're not splitting hairs.
Captain CEO of a CMO, sorry, just give you a promotion. CMO of HubSpot.
I'll take it. It's interesting because this is the whole like who owns the website thing, which is less of a thing now, but it used to be like a really big thing because the website often, especially 5 to 10 years ago, was often owned by like the IT group because it had to do with computers and things that were technical and hard. And then what happened was all these people created all this reporting that was really meant for those people who at the time kind of like owned the website and would look at things like, page load time and like server response times and like, number of pages per visit and like, things like that weren't really business metrics. They were really more web metrics. And for people that even today specifically have to do with like the website, looking at a bunch of those metrics makes sense. But as an overall marketer, I'm not sure that like web analytics is really what you should be going for because there are a bunch of big differences there, right? So looking at more of the metrics that have to do with the business, rather than just the website. So things that, like as a marketer, you want to know, hey, how's my website performing? But also, how are all these other things performing that might be, maybe it's your mobile app, maybe it's like just your blog or social media or all these other things, and how does that all play into your marketing? I think the two of them are different, and I think as a marketer, you should think about, well, what are my marketing analytics?
And it's a little bit, you're tying together how all these different things are performing, but also in how you can judge whether or not they're performing. So it's more than just, are they driving traffic to your website? Are they driving leads? Are they driving customers? As a marketer, those things are really important. Look at us, we're so in sync. That's so great. It matters more. It's not all about page views anymore. It's about a lot more than that when you're analyzing your marketing analytics, when you're analyzing your business analytics.
Yeah, and it's really about measuring the effectiveness of your marketing, not the effectiveness of your website. Those are two different things, and that's actually one of the reasons why we've actually gotten rid of Website Grader, and we now have Marketing Grader that measures your marketing, it's not Website Grader, which really measures the effectiveness of your website, because marketing is about so much more than your website. Interestingly
enough, 57% of marketers cite measurement, analysis, and learning as the biggest bottlenecks they face with their organization. This is clearly a place where a lot of people are struggling.
I just met with a $1.5 billion company this afternoon. Had to put on a jacket, look all fancy
Mike
for that
Volpe.
meeting. Yeah. No, it's nothing to do with me being a big deal. It has to do with them being a big deal. And they were having, even though they have a whole development team within marketing that like makes more marketing tools for them and like integrates things and like figures out all this complex stuff because they have like 10 different marketing tools and it's hard to like integrate them and make them all work together because they're not using HubSpot yet. And what was interesting for them was like a big challenge for them was like all this like data. Even though they're a very data-centric organization, like getting the right data in the right places and all that stuff was really hard for them.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It is. So what's the marketing takeaway here?
So the marketing takeaway here is measure what is important for your business, which would be the business metrics. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, let's talk about real-world B2B marketing.
I wanted to make some like reference to the real world in this story.
Yeah?
But I didn't have cable growing up, so I never watched the real world. So then I was thinking of maybe making a reference to like Jersey Shore, which is like today's real world. And the only thing I know
really
about
the real world, though.
Right.
It's a world.
But it's the
some
equivalent of the
worlds.
show The Real World, right?
It's, I mean, it's, yeah, I guess kind
Is
of.
the Real World show The Real World?
No.
Like, I mean, I've seen a few
No,
episodes.
because you
and
take
there's
you
no way
take, you
that's
take like 8 people that don't have jobs, you put them in this ridiculously awesome apartment in like a fantastic city, and they apparently have money to go out every single night.
Sort of
if
like
it was
the-
the real world, they'd be like hunting for jobs all day and eating ramen. Like it's
Sort
just
of-
different.
they modeled The Real World after the Friends or Friends after the
Something,
Real World.
I don't know. Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe Snooki's baby had something to do with the story, but you tell me. You guys can maybe come up with a better connection. In any case, this is from Marketing Pilgrim. It was an email interview with Heather Smith of ArcPlan. And it was actually a fascinating interview. It was kind of about what B2B marketing is like on the ground, what it's like for the real people doing it every day.
This is going to be one where we'll highlight a couple things from the story, but really you kind of just need to read the
gotta
story.
go read
it's
the
like
article.
a really
It was
interesting,
good.
like if you're into like a lot of the detailed stuff, it was an interesting story. So
ArcPlan does business intelligence software. And yeah.
sorry.
And Heather is the director of marketing. So she's responsible for lead gen, content creation, social media campaigns, email marketing, trade
And
shows,
they're kind of like a
everything for
mid-sized
North
business, so
America.
she has like a lot on her plate.
And what she said that I thought was one of my favorite quotes was, she's a jack of all trades here, as I have been since I started my career. And she thinks that many SMB, B2B marketers can relate. We're being asked to do more with less, whether that means smaller budget or fewer staff. A lot of us are falling into the role of the do everything, be everything marketers.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, there's tons of people out there that are and being asked to do more in a more sophisticated way, but not with like tons of people on your team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, you know, she talked about a bunch of things, but I think that she talked a lot about the KPIs or key performance indicators that she looks at.
Yep.
But like, you know, what is marketing's contribution to revenue? You know, what percentage of the deals that come in were influenced by marketing? And she says, you know, gone are the days when marketing could vaguely influence sales. Now we have to have a direct and measurable impact on sales. And so in order to do that, you need to be generating leads, but more importantly, you need to be measuring that whole process
You
all the
need
way
marketing
through.
analytics!
See how it ties into the last story? Look
It's
at
so
that.
brilliant.
Just genius, Karen.
It's as if we were
It's-
actual like talk show
Had
hosts.
some idea of what we're doing up here. Yeah.
Occasionally.
So she also mentioned, this was interesting too, that in her dreams, what did she want in her dreams?
She wants in her dream marketing middleware, an application that serves as the glue between all the other applications she uses.
If only something existed
If
that would
only
tie
there was
together
software that could
all your different
integrate
marketing applications.
everything you do into one place.
Like one spot. It
one.
would be like a hub
It'd
for
be
your
like
marketing.
a hub for your marketing, like a hub
God.
spot.
Whoever that would be, I have no idea.
This would be brilliant.
Yeah.
So-
In any event,
Somebody
so,
should do that.
Yeah, the marketing takeaway for I don't see, what was her name?
Heather.
Heather. The marketing takeaway for Heather is you might want to check out a tool that would be like an all-in-one marketing system because it might help you tie all that stuff together and be that marketing middleware that you're specifically, she said, dreaming about.
Dreaming about.
So that's interesting. But the marketing takeaway here is that make sure you're having a direct and measurable impact on sales. That is the best way to improve and extend your job as a marketer. And that means that not only like you need to do the right things in order to do that, but you also need the system to manage it. Because without that report that you can show to your boss being like, hey, here's the numbers, like it actually makes sense and look at that, right?
It's totally
Without
true.
that, you can't just be like, oh, well, I did all this stuff and it probably helped. Like you need to have the tools to measure it.
Actually, there's a statistic I referenced in a presentation I gave this morning to our new hire training class, which
You
I'd like to
referenced
welcome.
a statistic in a presentation?
I did.
Was it your presentation?
No, Kip made it. I only give presentations made by other people. It's a brilliant way to give awesome presentations. 73% of CEOs don't think marketing affects the bottom line.
Yes.
That's unbelievable. That's incredible.
The funny thing is, a good portion of those specific CEOs, with the way that their team is doing marketing, is actually it might not be affecting the bottom line, right? Like they may not be wrong, right? Like some of them, like they may actually be wrong, but many of them actually, in those cases, might it's not a problem that marketing can't influence the bottom
Marketing
line.
should
in those
influence the bottom
organizations,
line.
it may not be.
It might not be. If it's doing arts and crafts all day long, it's probably not.
That's right.
All right, so we did the marketing takeaway here. We have another tweet.
We have another tweet from Inbound Sales saying, guess my tweet about Karen Rubin having more clout than M. Volpe must have touched a nerve. M. Volpe has been way more active on Twitter.
Mike got all upset about it. I teased him about it the next day. Apparently, a couple weeks ago, my clout score was higher than Volpe's, which is fabulous.
For like an hour.
But I mentioned it to him.
And it calls into question the entire clout algorithm, by the way. By the way. Very suspect, you guys over at Clout.
He was so upset about it. He ranted for like 20 minutes about why this couldn't possibly be. It's brilliant. In any case, what are you up to this weekend besides working on your cloud score?
Yeah, I definitely have working on my cloud score blocked out in my
I bet you do.
agenda.
Sorry, John, no play dates this weekend. Gotta get that cloud score up.
Seriously. Maybe I need to tweet more photos of babies. Maybe that would help me get my cloud score up.
No, it's puppies and men and babies. Maybe it would work.
Yeah, babies definitely
The problem
increase
is you
cloud
tweeted
score.
from John as his own Twitter account. You should have folded that into yours, and then you would be all over
I
the.
could still do some of that, maybe. Like if I need to retweet John, I don't know. Yeah. In any event, so we have a 1-year-old birthday party for friends that have twins.
Ooh.
So
Do you
it's
get
gonna
two
be
presents then?
I think each kid gets one present.
Gets one present,
yeah,
right.
They have a boy and a girl too, so it isn't even like the same present for both. It's like you need to
But
pick one
that's
for each.
dangerous. I have 5 nieces and nephews, and we just get and they range in age from 5 to 4 months. We buy them all the exact same present. It doesn't matter. They'll use it at some point in their life because if you don't, fights ensue. Like every year at Christmas. And this year, Hanukkah, this year we got them these awesome Angry Birds plush toys, and they had like all different kinds. So we didn't get the different kinds. We got them all the same one, so there would be no fights. And you know what? Then they fought about, once they got all mixed up, whose was whose. It's unbelievable. There's just no winning.
Nope, there's
Anyway,
definitely not.
Yes, you could get different presents.
So what are you up to this weekend, Karen Rubin?
So one of my husband's college roommates is coming into town, which is always a fabulous time. We're gonna go to. No, it really is.
Is it really? It's not like too much like bro time. Like it's not like they just hang out and play Xbox all weekend, and you have to find something to do.
No. We typically it involves a lot of day drinking.
Okay.
And we're going to Regina's Pizza to start the afternoon on. Right.
Okay.
He's actually here for a bachelor party that we are not going to. So.
Why isn't your husband going?
Well, because he doesn't actually know the guy whose bachelor party this guy's going to. So
And
he's
that
coming in to
matters?
hang out
Why?
with us for like a. Maybe I'll
It's a
send
bachelor
Jared.
party, why
Maybe
not?
I'll send Jared to the
Yeah.
bachelor party. So we're going to be hanging out with friends. We've got some brunch plans. It'll be good times. I'm looking
Nice.
forward to it.
Cool, fantastic.
Always good stuff. Anyway, folks, have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye.